Words are so ordinary we barely notice them, but the story of language is one of the strangest stories on the planet. Here are 8 facts about words and language that might change the way you think before you speak again. Let's start with the most successful word in human history. The word okay is recognized in nearly every country on earth, more than almost any other word. It didn't come from some ancient root. It was actually a joke. In 1839, a Boston newspaper started a fad of deliberately misspelled abbreviations, and OK stood for all correct, a comic spelling of all correct. The joke should have died within the year. Instead, it became the most widely understood word on the planet. Next, if you want to hear the most linguistically diverse place on Earth, go to Papua New Guinea. That single country is home to more than 840 living languages, over a tenth of all languages spoken on the planet, packed into a nation smaller than Texas. Mountain ranges kept villages isolated for so long that entire valleys developed their own tongues, unintelligible to people living just a ridge away. Here's a strange one for animal lovers of language. On the island of La Gomera in the Canary Islands, herders developed something called Silbo Gomero, a whistled language. Instead of spoken words, herders whistle entire sentences across steep volcanic valleys, and the sound can carry clearly for over 2 miles, far farther than any shouted voice could travel. UNESCO now protects it as an endangered form of human heritage. Now, longest word alert. Doctors have a name for a lung disease caused by inhaling fine volcanic or silica dust, and it's considered the longest word in most major English dictionaries. Pneumon-ultramicroscopic silicovolcaniconiosis. It clocks in at 45 letters, and amusingly, the word was largely invented on purpose in the 1930s just so it could claim the title of longest word in English. Here's one that surprises almost everyone: sign languages are not universal. American Sign Language and British Sign Language are almost completely different from each other, with different grammar and different signs for the same words, even though American English and British English are mutually understandable. ASL actually shares more historical roots with French Sign Language than with British Sign Language. Speaking of disappearing languages, here's a sobering fact. Linguists estimate that a language dies out somewhere in the world roughly every 2 weeks, as its last living speakers pass away without passing the language on. Of the roughly 7,000 languages spoken today, experts predict that nearly half could vanish by the end of this century. On a lighter note, English is a linguistic magpie. Estimates suggest English has borrowed vocabulary from over 350 other languages throughout its history, from shampoo in Hindi to ketchup, possibly from a Chinese dialect, to robot from Czech. Less than 30% of English words actually have Old English roots. And finally, the shortest complete sentence in English doesn't need a subject you can see. Commands like go or stop are complete, grammatically correct sentences with just one word, because the subject, you, is implied. Language finds ways to say more with less every single day. From whistled valleys to invented 45-letter diseases, words carry more history and strangeness than we ever notice in daily conversation. If you enjoyed this trip through language, hit subscribe for more mind-bending facts, and let us know in the comments which fact surprised you the most.